did the Almighty send me to watch your back?
What's up, warriors? This video and what I'm focusing on is going to be a part 2 showing what they do on Infowars and kind of what Alex Jones does in his broadcasts and things like that. It's really strange the way he operates. He does a bunch of weird movements and things with his hands, and he'll like touch his face and like move and fiddle around. It just seems like he's making some kind of hand signals or codes. And in these particular clips that I have taken, he's talking about like Freemasons and all this other stuff. And I don't know if Alex Jones is a Freemason, but he's some type of fraternal order or something of that measure. So we're just going to take a look at these clips. I really wish that there was a way for me to do a side-by-side, because I really can explain things better as I'm watching or doing all that, but I don't have the setup for that. But just pay attention to what he does in his broadcasts. It's easy to see that this man is a deceiver. He's a deceiver, and all his co-hosts, whether they know it or not, which I believe that they would know that, because anybody who works for someone that does this kind of thing, they kind of have to know that to do the same thing and push that stuff. It's not just done like unknowingly. So and like I said, Harrison Smith is a self-proclaimed Freemason, as well as Chase Geyser, and I'm sure Owen Schroyer in some way is either a Freemason or a part of some other kind of fraternal order group. And, these guys, they go to prison and they get persecuted and all this stuff legally to drive up popularity. It's not, they're not getting singled out and brought to justice here. They're literally, they get called out, and these unfair things, or what appears to be unfair things, happen to them. Not only to send a message to people who pay attention to it and would consider themselves right-wing or like Trump supporters or whatever, it's to show you that they can do whatever they want to you. These people, they're not really suffering any kind of real punishment. I can promise you, they're not suffering any kind of real punishment. And if Owen Schroyer even really did go to jail, it was a cakewalk for him, and he went in, he was supposed to go in for like 60, and it kept going down and down and down, so it's like, this stuff is just complete BS, and it's just a dog and pony show like everything else. All this stuff is staged. The world is a stage. When are we going to understand that the world is a stage? And usually, I shouldn't make my channel about it. My channel is not just about exposing this stuff, but why it is important to expose this stuff and these people is because they're committing crimes against humanity. They're literally brainwashing people. Like, we could sit here all day and talk about how liberals and all this stuff are so stupid and all this other stuff, and like they're brainwashed, but the right, the hard or far right is just as bad, man. Like the both spectrums are just completely stupid. That's why you really have to release yourself from it all. Okay, it's the only way humans are going to get back together and be able to drive this system out of our growth spiritually. Like, we can't grow spiritually if we're constantly picking a side or standing up for a side. Like the tribalism, like if we're a civilized society or supposed to be a sophisticated society as we portray ourselves or as we see ourselves, the tribalism needs to go out the door, right? But it won't, of course, because people need something to live for. People need something to identify with. They aren't comfortable with just being human. People aren't okay with just pursuing what they were put here for. And I'm not saying I'm in any way some kind of spiritual guru, because I'm not. I'm not. I'm at the low levels like everyone else, but I'm trying to wade my way through it to get to a place where I understand and I can build off of it. You know, building off of that positivity, building off of that ability to break the chains of being tied down to modern society, to all the norms that we think are okay, but they're not. So, because all they do is hinder us, or hinder our growth and our spiritual conquest, to understand what existence even is. Like, that should be the priority of what a truth movement is. The truth movement shouldn't be about you know, right or left, or like this guy is gonna destroy the world. Like, it's gonna, like, anything is it's all up in the air at this point, right? Anything, like, your existence, you were brought here to die, you know, like, you are going to die. That's a certainty in life, you know, and it's talked about so much. But if we know this, then why is it so hard for us to focus on what the purpose of our time here is? You know, what is our purpose here, to be carried on to a other realm, other dimension, other whatever life after living in this reality? So to me, figuring out what existence is much more important than choosing sides here and going through the motions on all this stuff. And why it's important to point out people like Alex Jones is because he is literally sucking a whole base of people into this deception that this stuff even matters. Like, that all this, like, you should be so worked up and you should be distracted by it. I will tell you, I watched Infowars for since 2015, like, on. I mean, I stopped watching, like, seriously watching, and started questioning it like a few years ago, like 3 years ago, and then periodically watch it, and I don't watch it anymore, and I don't worry about it. Like, I actually feel better not watching it, because it's a psychological game. It's a game that they get into your head and they want you to pick sides. And this other thing about that brother Nathaniel or whatever, I saw all these videos on BitChute, all these other people posting these videos about how he owned Alex and all that stuff. This dude's this dude is a psychological operation just like Alex. That's why he has him on. That's anything that's on Infowars is disinformation, is a psychological operation. That's what it is. It's like the Mockingbird media. Why do people, they say that, like Operation Mockingbird, whatever, that is part of it, okay? That's what all this is. That's what all this is. This is all an operation, psychological operation, to literally confuse every avenue of your, like, reality. Every mode of your thinking is supposed to be distorted, and that's how they tie it in. All right, so we'll watch this, and that's where the video is going to end for me. Enjoy the video, and I hope you learned something from it, because I'm literally just trying to bring awareness to this, and hopefully help if somebody's stuck in this situation to release their mind and free their mind into a place where they can start growing out of that right-left paradigm, out of that tribalism, out of all that stuff. All right, God bless, love you all, and go in peace. This is Jay out.
Or something, and I really still don't pay attention to that stuff. I got a lot of stuff going on. And I know that going back to Solomon's Temple, masonry, and all that's pretty much the same deal. It goes back to Egypt, but the Babylonians, it was all basically the same mystery religions of all those groups. I know about George Washington's writings, about the bad guys taking over masonry and the rest of it. So there's different arms of this system. And, you know, you've seen Kanye West here on the show, going off on his Hitler thing. I disagree with that. And of course, I think Hitler had his own occultic competing system to all of this. But just because somebody goes and gets involved with some different Masonic organizations and reads the books they've got there. I've not been in those Masonic halls, but I know they've got big libraries. I've read books about what they have, and it's all sorts of stuff from black magic to you. It's like a suppository or repository of all the forbidden stuff the church wouldn't let you have, because it predates the Christian church, the Orthodox and Catholic Church. And so that's what it's got. So absolutely. I mean, I know they've got satanic manuscripts, you name it. Like we've gotten reporters in that we paid before to get into the Getty archives, and we did reports on that. So I've done some of the similar things. If you came to my house, I don't think in the house I live in now, because I've read those books so long ago, I think they're in storage. But I mean, I've got like Grand Grimoire, Black Magic books. I've got Adolf Hitler's Mein Kampf. I've got, book stuff written by Julius Caesar. Grand Grimoire, Black Magic books. I've got writings of Napoleon Bonaparte. In fact, I was going to read some of Napoleon Bonaparte's writings today, but I ran out of time. I actually have them right here. But that doesn't mean I agree with Napoleon Bonaparte's writings. And by the way, I'm not an apologist for the Masons. If the Masons claim they tried to found this country, they're trying to save freedom, they've really been asleep on the job. And so when you say globalism is what the globalist Anglo-American British Combine, U.S. MI6 / Israel's a spinoff, Mossad, CIA Combine calls itself. So globalists want a global government run by them. It doesn't mean they're internationalist. It doesn't even mean they're a citizen of the world. That all sounds interesting. They are wanting a centralized world government. And I guess they taught you at this lodge the secret is that Lucifer is the morning star. And of course they refer to Christ in the Bible as the morning star as well. And all the rest of that. So you're welcome to talk about that stuff. But just calling up and saying you want to debate with me, skip this break. Just by calling up and saying you want a debate with me, I'm not going to let you define the parameters of what that debate is, because I don't think I'm even debating what you're saying. If you want to put a written report together with some images in it or something you're talking about and email it to us, I might be interested in talking to you. But none of them being beaten over the head that I'm covering things up and, you're the anointed one that's going to beat us out of everything. So that's where I'm at. You want to respond now?
Yeah, I never said I was the anointed one, even though you called me that on your 2012 interview.
Oh, I called you the anointed one. Oh, really? Wow, we're learning more here. Okay, so please, and I called you the Easter Bunny too. So what else?
No.
I'm done talking. Thanks for the call. I got to get to everybody else, man. I mean, there's always these personalities that don't want to talk about the information. I mean, are a bunch of the Masonic lodges worshiping Lucifer? Yeah. Is that the 33rd degree? Or even the 32nd degree? Yeah. Okay. And that's the whole paradox of the thing. And then there's all these idiots online that go, Alex Jones did this with his hand. That's an Illuminati symbol. No, you put your index finger with your thumb. There's all these idiots online that go, Alex Jones did this with his hand. That's an Illuminati symbol. No, you put your index finger with your thumb. My name is Alex Jones. That's my real name.
My name is Alex Jones. That's my real name.
What we cover is real issues. You can go check out almost everything we talk about and we do here. When I'm giving you opinion, I'll tell you it's opinion. So I'm not gonna, when a call comes out, I am the son of this, and this is the way this is, and I want to debate you, and you are going to such and such, all the rest of it. And see, I just vaguely remember all that stuff, and I just can't handle it. I've been around too much craziness, and I do my show, I do my research, I go home to my family, and that's it. I don't even really hang out with people anymore, any of that. I'm like a hermit or something that just carries out the mission, and that's it. The judge said we were not allowed to put evidence on. She literally just let him say that. That event further crippled Infowars because it worked. And they ran it in hundreds of newspapers and publications saying, Jones is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I had distant family members calling me saying, can I have some money? Then when they did the $1.5 billion judgment in Connecticut, they did 40-something million in Texas, people believe I'm a billionaire now. In fact, it's had the opposite effect. Everybody like kisses my ass on the street and go, you're a billionaire. We didn't know that. I mean, it's all weird psychology, man. Total cuckoo town, okay? But now, and I can't get into the stuff going on behind the scenes and mediation and the bankruptcy and the rest of it. I'm not going to get into that. But now the other side's completely freaked out because they have all our real books certified by the judge, the federal government, outside accounting firms, and outside firms they hired that came and looked at it. And they went, oh my God, all the things we said about Jones making $65 million in a year Didn't make it in 14 years. All of it was lies. Just, and people are like, what? I mean, even the plaintiffs are like, what? None of this was true? Yeah, you're damn right it wasn't true. Not one freaking bit of it. And now you're having, and I'm not even happy about this. You're having to eat your own lies. You're having to consume the reality that I'm not Lex Luthor, that I didn't do all these things, that I didn't make money off these people or any of this crap. I mean, it's crazy. $1.5 billion judgment when I had $1 million in the bank. I have $200,000 in the bank right now. And I currently, because the court ruled back when the court still believed that I'm worth hundreds of millions of dollars, that I have to pay half the legal fees. It was 40%. It's half the legal fees of free speech systems. So we're going to skip this break. So when I tell listeners and explain I'm out of money, folks. And so we're trying to go to the court right now to say, well, if you want me to stay on air, and we're still battling this is still going on, and we're going to stay on air if we keep fighting, because we're going to win the appeals, and the chapter 11, subchapter 5 is going well because we told the truth, which allows the company to reorganize and continue on. We're months away from free speech systems having an approved plan, moving forward and staying on air. Now, me personally, that's a different story, but I don't have any money, so it's ridiculous. It's like, it's like Jones won't pay the $1.5 billion. He's refusing. Again, if I had gallons of blood in my body, and they said, you're going to give us 10,000 gallons right now, I'd say, okay, I only have 3 gallons, go ahead and kill me. I mean, it's like, but we got a judgment for 10,000 gallons. Okay, well, there ain't 10,000 gallons. It'd be like if they said, well, we got a coupon from NASA saying we get all the cheese on the moon. Well, the moon ain't made out of cheese, okay? So the reason I'm giving people an update on this is this. I'm sitting here with no money. And I'm sitting here with free speech stabilized and about to be able to stay on air indefinitely. And then I'm sitting here feeling good about a month ago saying, okay, finally I'm gonna take a 1.5 week vacation and go check some stuff out while I'm at it and investigate Zuckerberg and these underground bases, which I'm gonna talk about more when I get back this weekend, tomorrow, Sunday. Photos, although we have incredible testimonies, you name it. But then I get, I don't wanna say chewed out, but I'm like, to the point where it's like, well, no money's coming in. And when you leave, we don't bring in enough money to even pay the bills. Well, I mean, that's up to listeners, folks, okay? I have done this 29 years. I'm not complaining, but I can't kill myself. And I really feel like my primary mission's complete. Everybody knows about the New World Order now. We're inside the New World Order. I want to stay on air. We've got more important work to do, like exposing power outage plans they have. We told you they're going to blame on, quote, right-wingers and Christians and, quote, white people. And now that preposterous, ludicrous BS is the top story. We have an important mission to continue on. And I'm not bitching at the listeners. In fact, maybe God wants me to retire. All I'm saying is that we have great products you need regardless. And Infowars, the world would be a much worse place if it wasn't for Infowars. I'm very proud of the crew. I'm not busy and complaining, but it's getting to the point where I can't even do my show because I've got to grub around and try to get money. And I mean, it's got to the point where in the bankruptcy to pay my bills and the legal bills, they go, okay, well, you got $75,000 worth of guns, some of which I got in high school. Just sell those to pay the lawyers. And I said about a month ago, I said, okay, I'll sell those guns to pay the lawyers and I'll sell my car. I already said that. I got 2 cars. But I said, but what happens when there's no money there? What happens when that money's gone? You see? And so that's the position they want me in. I haven't shot most of those guns in a decade. I don't even care about those guns. One of them was a shotgun my dad gave me when I was like 16, for like $100 from Walmart. But none of it means anything to me. My family means things to me, my free speech, my mobility. They tried to take our freedom. They tried to lock us up. They tried to give us poison shots. They killed a bunch of people. That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about nuclear war. I'm worried about depression. I'm worried about crime exploding. I'm worried about my family. I don't give a damn about money. I don't give a damn about my guns. As long as I got a couple of them to keep myself safe. I just want my freedom back. I just want my freedom back. But there's nothing more frustrating than knowing that we have totally and completely, absolutely delivered on every front. And that the listeners, the one thing the listeners bought, because the audience actually, since we got deplatformed, had gone down a lot. It actually went up during all this persecution and came back to very high levels. Not what it was, but massive.
It actually went up during all this persecution and came back to very high levels. Not what it was, but massive.
There's a huge vindication happening, and we're viral everywhere. But the show itself is isolated. It's not as big as it was 4 or 5 years ago, but it was giant. But it's still core and large and actually growing. But the reach of our clips everywhere is bigger than ever. It's just that doesn't translate back to people at Infowars.com and Band.video to see the live show, to listen to the actual program, and to actually hear the sponsors to get us funds. So we're more successful than ever at reaching people and fighting the globalists and creating counter talking points to their lies. But we're not successful at money, and it is due to their psyop on thousands of TV programs, thousands of news articles, because they'll write one article and it's syndicated to thousands of publications. I mean, some days hundreds of articles a day, hundreds of new TV shows a day. CNN does a report that it's all over their CNN channels around the country. I mean, it's just insane. CBS does reports all over CBS. Shane Jones is worth, and his company and personally, $400 million. Listeners really believe that and thought, well, this guy doesn't need donations. This guy doesn't need money. Well, now, notice you don't hear about the bankruptcy in the news anymore. And if you want to go read the filings, the U.S. Trustee's Office testified 3 weeks ago that Mr. Jones has no money, there is no money there, and none of what was filed by these people over the years is true. Oh, sorry. You could rig a court, you could tell the jury I'm guilty, you can lie and say I have $400 million, but see, when the cow came to eat the cabbage, it wasn't true. None of it was ever true. And so that's what's insane about this, and now they're having to come to grips with the fact that I don't have all this money. And I never had all this money. And that gross products bought over the years. Oh, in the last 10 years, you've sold $40 million in water filters. We make 25% on the water filter because it's a low price, but it's a high quality filter. Yeah, we could mark it up 3 times. Maybe we should. We'd have plenty of money. And then it'd be $500, $600. But instead, we sell it through the top company that has the highest rated for at least half the cost of leading competitors. And then we make 30%, 35% maximum. Same thing with 20% on storable food, 25%. And then I'm sitting there in these court hearings, they go, look, he makes 800% on storable food. Does anyone believe that? The company we have is the top one with the highest quality, the lowest price. Everybody knows you can't find it. It's all pure bull. It's all lies.
It's all pure bull. It's all lies.
But that's the thing. They sit there and they put these lies up there and they lie. But then at the end of the day, they can say Joe Biden's healthy, great, wonderful, but he fell down again yesterday. Everybody knows it's not true. But the last lie people believe is that I've got $400 million. The last lie they believe is that oh, Jones is this incredible person. How did he have $1 billion and a half judgment on him? He must have $10 billion. It is preposterous. It is absolute crap. So I don't want to get up here and bitch and complain, and I'm not. Our most important work to come is here. And I love the crew, the infrastructure, and the archive, and the work we've got, and we need to keep Infowars on the air. But really, it's just in God's hands, and it's in you out there, whether you're touched by God to support us or not. But everybody really should go. And show me. The Infowarsstore.com, up at the very top, it says make a donation, and make a donation right there at the top. One time, sign up to repeated, canceling time, does it charge you? A $10, $100, whatever you can do. And all the middle class people and upper middle class people and rich people that sit on the fence, why don't you go to Infowarsstore.com and buy 20 Alexa Pure water filters and give them to the church, give them to the local police department, give them to your family. Go buy 20 of them. You know, I guarantee you there's people, I know they are. There's people out there listening that are billionaires, people that are worth hundreds of millions, people that own car dealerships, restaurant chains. I know, I run into you, I see, I know you are. I mean, I got lots of friends that are worth tons of money. I ought to call them up and say, why don't you make $1 million donation? I know you're worth 100 million. I mean, maybe that's what we should just get down to, because the left knows how to spend money. The left knows how to double down and pool their resources to dominate us and attack us. You talk about sacrifice. Look at these Fortune 500 companies, hundreds of them, putting out horrible pedophile garbage, and Target and Anheuser-Busch and North Face, and all of them just doubling down, knowing it's going to lose 12 billion, 10 billion, 9 billion, 16 billion, and saying we don't care. And every time one of them does it and they lose everything, another big corporation bellies up and says we want to lose money. We want to lose $15 billion because we want kids and we can't stop it. That's our Satan energy, and we're going to have sex with your kids. Target, we're Satanists. We're going to cut your heads off. We're going to rape your children. Your children belong to us. Devil skeletons saying we love Satan. We're a cult, handing the fire of Lucifer to a baby who they say they're going to kill. I mean, that's the t-shirts at Target. Hey, they're committed. We're Satan. Your kids belong to us. We'll lose 10 billion. We'll lose 12 billion. We'll lose 15 billion. We'll do it to dominate. The average Christian conservative, you go to their churches, it's like, we don't want to violate 501c3. We can't say well, the government's corrupt. We can't even be against abortion because that's political. No, it's not. Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion, prohibits the free exercise thereof. And so Congress has no jurisdiction over churches. You stopped being a church when you became 501c3 and opted into a charitable organization. It's a sleight of hand. The Amish haven't been dumb. They haven't done that. That's why they still operate for free. The Hopi Indians haven't done that. They can sit there and take peyote all day long. Even though it's a federal crime to have it, because their First Amendment under religion, under that trumps it. So again, it's all a fraud, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm not pissed. I actually feel good. I feel liberated. I have never gotten so much love. It has been absolutely insane at airports, at restaurants, and on the street, and just at the grocery store. Love, 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 love. Love, 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 love. I've shaken the last 2 weeks. It's not exaggerating. 500 people's hands. 500 at least. I had one guy come over and say, how dare you show your face? And it was funny as hell. All of a sudden the lady goes, Alex Jones, I love you. And like, starts shaking my hand right in front of me. I go, yeah. I said, that shouldn't have been me. And I said, how dare you show your ugly face? And I repented and I said a little prayer after. I shouldn't have done it. You can tell the guy was his dad because he looked like him. The son was like 35. And then the dad was probably like 60. The dad said, why don't you watch your mouth? And I said, why don't you watch yours? Your ugly son, just. And then the lady goes, now stop it, Alex. We're all friends. We're in Hawaiian love. And I'm just like, we're hiking up the top of this lighthouse thing, a couple miles up to it. I have lost about 7 more pounds, by the way. I've been hiking and lifting weights every day. So people see it when I get back. I mean, I'm not great, but I've lost 27 pounds the last 2 months, taking my X-Tube and doing all that. And I don't know what Troyer shape, but I'm intending to go down to 210, folks. The biggest I've gotten was up to 280 about 4 or 5 years ago. That's a big bastard, but I'm down to about 245 right now, and I'm gonna go all the way down to 210 when I get back. So, and by the way, I always smoke cigars here and there and smoked a few cigarettes when I drank, but I never become an actual hardcore smoker. But all the stress, the craziness last year, I started smoking cigarettes again. I kicked that habit on the trip. So a lot of good news, and I love everybody, and I feel really good, and I appreciate everybody, and the world's all crazy, and I got a lot of news to cover right now. But I said I'd do the show today, and then I wasn't gonna do it, and I thought, you know what? I tuned in and heard Owen, and I said I'd be there, and I'd be there, and there's nowhere I wanna be like being on this show. But I couldn't sit there and have all the accounting numbers read to me for an hour and a half. And, have people tell me, get in the game, get in there, raise money, get in there. And I'm just like, do I even have to do that with people? I mean, do folks think Infowars is something that needs to still be around? Or maybe it doesn't. I'm not complaining. But I just know, that's why I went back to the bankruptcy. that hearing that I'm worth $400 million in a court with a judge saying that's the truth and we're not allowed to talk, and some dude, you know, like a professor type, just making up stuff out of his rear end. I mean, he could have taken a dump on the table and been more accurate. And I'm just sitting there listening to this. I mean, that's why people ask why I laughed about it, why I made a joke about all this, because it's a freaking joke, people. It's total fantasy land. It's completely insane. And just because the left says I'm a KKK member, just because the left says I'm a mastermind criminal, just because the left says I have $400 million, doesn't mean it's true. It's more of their fantasy crap that we're Russian agents and we're gonna blow up the power grid. And meanwhile, all the big money people are digging into bunkers like it's the end of the world. I don't know if an asteroid's coming. I'm not sure what's happening, but I just know that the problems are so bad now that it's made my problem small. You know what I mean?